Well, I'm back again. I know it's been a while. I just been so busy. Like really busy. The Black Friday sale, I got to avoid that because of my arm has injury and I don't think I want to risk that. So, no, I didn't work on Friday or Saturday. I'm off, thank God. So I decided to make I guess you could say an analysis or at least an idea of where I think the show is going. Some people, some people haven't figured out a lot of things about Adrian Agrest, and I'm going to give you or pinpoint some things that I've learned just by watching the show over and over and over again. Yes, I have been analyzing it like with a little microscope or even a magnifying glass. Like the Nino in the Rocketeer. But anyway, I'm going to go in and get into the detail, and here we go. The heartbeat. What does the heartbeat represent? Well, the heartbeat usually represents in any story someone either coming alive or that they are the birth of a child. Whenever you hear a heartbeat in any given situation, any story, it's always the life. Heartbeats usually mean life. So, why have we never, ever, ever, I have not thought of one episode where we hear Adrian's heartbeat? Or Marinette's for that matter. Fishy? Suspicious? But maybe this was an indication of something. Something, not just love, but a trigger. Do you remember watching, what was it? I'm trying to think of the episode where everybody changed. Wishmaker. This was a very important episode. We have someone who looks suspiciously like Geppetto, and he is, I think he's making toys, yes, or some type of puppets, and then we have him turning into Santa Claus. It is kind of odd why we have that. In this whole franchise, they talk about puppets. Puppets this, puppets that. As a matter of fact, Adrian says, don't make a mini puppet. As Cat War. Why would he say that? Because he's been controlled as a puppet? Yeah, you can go with that. But there's something more deeper. If they're not Santa monsters themselves, Adrian and Felix, could they be living puppets like Pinocchio? Because everywhere in the storylines, season 1 through 4, we're talked about sentient beings, which people call them Santa monsters, which is the ingenic way or horrible, impolite way of naming someone who has sentimental value. I know it sounds horrible. Monster is usually for someone who has ill intentions or cruelties, and the only monster I see in the show at the moment, honestly, although he's controlling them like the puppet master, he, how do I say this? He is the monster. Okay, Gabriel Agrest, as we can see right now, is the monster. And Felix is like a red herring. I don't really think he's going to go bad, but it's a very big possibility that they might go that route. I'm not the writer of the show. Had I been the writer of the show or a part of the show, I would be able to tell you anything anyway, because I would have a silent and verbal contract stating that I won't tell anyone about the show or what I've written for the show, because you can really get in big trouble with companies for that. However, I didn't write part of the show, so here's my analysis on what I think is going down. Okay. When we hear the heartbeat, we'll go back to the heartbeat. When we hear the heartbeat, we're hearing Adrian's heartbeat for the very first time. But we never ever hear it, even with Marinette's confession that the boy that she likes is Buttercup, in which Adrian laughs and says, Buttercup? His name is Buttercup? Because, I mean, it is kind of funny. And he sounds like a gremlin going, you know, because it's really funny. It is. Sorry, it's the name Buttercup. So, yeah. He doesn't know that he is the Buttercup, okay? He doesn't know he's a damsel in distress and that Marinette is the knight in shining armor. What was depicted also in Gabriel Agreste episode, which was a very nice episode, I might add. Some say they don't want Marinette in it, but there's a point of reason why she's in it. She is taking on the role of some interesting comics where back in the 80s, we had shows that depicted people dressing up in costumes. Even, okay, Sailor Moon, the first series of the 90s, the original, as I call it, wasn't very good animation, but that was good animation for its time. Because we have better animation, way better animation in these days. In the year of the 2000s. But anyway, as I was saying, she even had a special pen that would change her into anything she wanted to look like. And it disguised her so well that no one knew she was Sailor Moon or Usagi. So, yeah, or Serena in our time in America when Deke had it produced or brought over to redub it by Terry Hawk, I think it was the very first episode. Oh my gosh, can I really remember that far back? I think I can. But anyway, let's get on with this video about exactly what I mean. So when Marinette dressed up in the costume with the Moreno, which was a actual throwback to, oh hi, I'm Mario. Yes, I'm sorry, I had to. It's me, a Mario. So, she did say the lines, it's me, Mario, but she said Moreno. I can't see the face. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Each time she spoke, it was like a Mario reference. I mean, Mario Brothers, you know, Super Mario Brothers, Yoshi and all that. Yes. Oh my god. And even Adrian did a Yoshi reference where Yoshi eats eggs as Cat Noir. In what episode was it? I'm trying to think. Time Tagger. Oh my goodness. And then of course we know he becomes the snake, so that was also another reference for the snake. But still, it was funny because we know that Yoshi is a dinosaur and he kind of looks like a reptile kind of snake thing. So mean, you know, the references are there. And the fact that Moreno, does interesting things. They've actually have, I think they have pictures that or people have done portraits of Mario with food serving. So this is pretty much that. So before you're like, oh my gosh, it's Marinette again. Okay. It's also reference to the Party Crasher. So we have Party Crasher reference in here as well. It's a party, just not for the kids this time or the boys. But it's a party for important, I think it's government officials. Because I'm not sure where Gabriel Agreste, maybe his past, maybe they were government officials or spies. I'm guessing that him and his wife were spies. And she went and took that mantle. And there was a hint a long time ago, and I've actually said this in some of my tweets, that's been discarded. And it was a thought that Emily Agreste, which is actually Emily Graham Vanelli, which is another reference to the Vanelli twins. Milli Vanelli, you know, Amelie and Emily. Oh my gosh, she is a runaway princess, which makes Adrian, by fault, regal. And this is why he was going to a royal wedding on the constipation pills episode. I'm sorry, that's the most I can remember of the backwater, was it? Yeah, backwater. And it's also when we learn that the cat and the bug might have been bad people because the background is red and some of black. So red and black resembles what? Cat Noir and Ladybug. So in this era, which is like World War II, I don't like to bring up the name, but kind of like a Nazi's version of Miraculous, because we know that Miraculous is similar to what our world is, except it's a different world. So I think that's where the reference came from. And I think they tried to instigate it in, or put it into, they instigated people when they put the idea of it inside the propaganda, inside the episodes, which was dumb because it made people feel bad, I guess, because it was something very serious back then. But whoever put that in there, don't think about the seriousness of what it represents. They just know they put in the show because it's history. Shout out to Guy, or my cartoon friend. Let me see if I can find her name real quick. Shout out to her because she Aurora? Yeah. Guy's friend Aurora has stated that, I don't know if this is going to go in her video or not, and I'm sorry, but I just want to give an emphasis of it. We see the Joan of Arc version of, in the timeline of a Fennel, which was very interesting because she spoke of fighting GILES. Now, who was GILES? GILES was also partnered up in the Joan of Arc era. And I'm not going to go into what he was because this is for children and teenagers. Let's just say that he was supposed to be partnered up and he was a bad egg. What I mean by bad egg, he is reference to, well, Cat Noir, the recent one, before, I guess, I don't know how far back before our Cat Noir, Agent Agreste, but Agent Agreste has proven to be a very good Cat Noir. Congratulations to Cat Noir, our beautiful, wonderful cinnamon roll sweetheart of a version of a Cat Noir. Because this one was supposed to be way worse. I don't know what he did and why he betrayed, but I believe he betrayed Ladybug of that era. And being that, this is why the Guardians were scared that it's in fruitation, that a Cat Noir will come and repeat what had happened in Paris, France. Or in France, yeah. And Suhan is terrified of this. Because apparently Cat Noirs is more powerful than even Ladybugs. And in the wrong hands, or should we say, paws, it could be very catastrophic. It could be where I'm not sure what all the powers that it has, but it has to do with what your mind is thinking at the time, and you break open that or cause a catastrophe or bad luck to it. An object, a person, a thing, depending on the emotions that you are carrying. This is why the Miraculous for Cat Noir is very dangerous, or the Black Cat Miraculous. It causes chaos for anything it touches. Notice I said anything it touches. For all we know, he might have betrayed Ladybug. GILES might have betrayed her. And even though this is sad, I'm hoping this doesn't happen to Marinette and be repeated in its own timeline. People get upset of why did it not happen in and Fennel. And Fennel was because for the first time, Adrian's heart beat. If he is a sentient or a puppet-like being, so it's something like a sentient puppet, and I'm thinking a familiar world because the familiars were people who were destined, like house elves, were destined to serve humankind for the humans. Dory the elf decided he wanted his freedom. So I'm guessing this could be a reference to that. Could it be that giving the ring to that person that you own them or whatever, or the being that you own, you've given them complete freedom? But now that Amelie had him steal it, which was kind of smart on her part, very intelligent on her part, I'm guessing that the yin and yang of the sisters, as Amelie is the brain and Emily was the heart, is probably why she went under. And what they did was there was just too much power used. They both. It would be cool if the sisters actually created both of them, because if the sisters, like the many twins, except instead of music, pretending to do things, they're actually the background or the source, as I call it, which was also another reference from Charmed. It's a show that was played back in the day. They could be two sisters that got together and created the two boys. If it's not hand-me-down from generation to generation. But Felix wanted his freedom. So she was like, okay, here's the deal. You go take and steal your uncle's wing which is yours. And you'll know which one's yours because you can feel the magic or maybe the vibrations. So you'll know which one's yours. But here's the thing. Once you do this, and you have to find a way to get him to give it back to you. This way, the bond can be broken and you can have your freedom. So he needed him to give him the ring back. Not just, okay, because it was probably like a 4-person transaction thing, you know, like pass it on, each person with the peacock. That's what I'm thinking it happened. The men something have to do with involvement. But see, his dad's gone. And if his dad is gone, unless Gabriel is his dad, and he's been in 2 places at once. Because Adrian did say, I quote, and even Plague said it, you can't be in 2 places at once. But he was. He got, he's smart. Adrian can be he's got an A+ in his test, or A-. Gosh, I was never that academically inclined or special. So I'm guessing that was his way of saying, look, I'm going to find a way to get what I want. So I got my friend who happened to be there, Wayne, which I honestly think he might have told Wayne something, but we don't know that yet. What if he did? What if he told Wayne that he was really close to Cat Noir, and then Wayne finds out or figures it out? I don't know. That would be interesting. Because we haven't seen Wayne, but we see him a couple of times. I miss Wayne. Wayne, come back. And if Felix doesn't get the dog, which I kind of wish he would, maybe Wayne will get the dog. That would be cool. But, sorry, I am sidetracking here. When he said that he could be in 2 places at once, he meant that... Well, how am I connecting this? Hold on, I'm trying to connect this as I talk to you. He sat there and he said, okay, so Wayne took his place, so he was at 2 places at once. And we do know that Gabriel Agreste can take a illusion of himself inside a car, okay? And people believe it's him that they're talking to. So what if that illusion, or even, I wouldn't say a sentiment, because he doesn't know how to make those yet. But what if he took one that looks so genuine that people thought it was him? And maybe the next time he took a trip, he actually used a sentient being, pretend he was him. Woo, I don't know how the timeline goes in here, but it makes sense to me. So he was able to fool people to believing that, and the reason he didn't interact much with Felix, if he was playing around that, you know, he was there, maybe Felix was like, well, something's off here because my uncle's here, but he's not talking to anybody. He talks, but then he leaves. No one talks to anyone at all. And I was like, okay, so this kind of does make sense. The father had died, but what if he faked his death because he was that father? I mean, it's conspiracy, yes, but I mean, it's happened in many families. So, if the father really didn't die, then would that, if we find that out, then that would mean that Gabriel, hear me out, would be Felix's father and Adrian's father. And if Emily couldn't have kids, I know where you're thinking, and I'm thinking it too, actually. Emily is the real mom in the public eye. But if they had that translation, transaction where they switched the peacock to different people, as all 2 fathers and the 2 wives, it's very possible that they made those two boys together to integrate them into the family and claim them as theirs. And Emily was like, okay, I'm going to claim it. Felix is mine, you know. But Gabriel wasn't really on board with this. He was just doing this because Emily wanted it. I'm thinking that's what happened. And they had to choose which child they wanted. So maybe they were switched. Like maybe Felix's mom is Emily, and Adrian's mom is Amelie. So, you know what I'm saying? And maybe they switched up, and maybe he's bitter, as one of my friends suggested here. I'm going to put a shout out to them as well. Gosh, which one was it? He said it. It's in my notifications. He could have been very, very bitter. I'm trying to find all my notifications. If any of you had any statement in this, come forward, and I'll be sure to put your name in the comments below, or at least in the description, because I don't want anyone to feel left out. This is a fandom thing. This is not just me claiming it is mine. I would never do that. If it's not my idea, then it's not my idea. But someone suggested that they would be changed up. I know maybe the children were switched. And it would make sense that one got lost. Like, you know what? Because they couldn't figure out which one was Adrian and which one was Felix. So, could it also be that Adrian's actually Felix and Felix is actually Adrian? I sometimes wondered if I was switched at birth, honestly. I was from a military hospital and everybody was smoking something. So, I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe that's why I'm so different from my own family. I mean, I look like similar people, but I look more like my mom and my dad's side. So, I don't know. It's odd. Then again, it could be the anomaly of the family, which is poor Adrian. That's why I'm so close to the character of Adrian, because he has similarities to me, where he's trying to fit in, but he doesn't know how. And he has that one friend who's finally showing him how, which is pretty much Marinette. And Nino, until Nino... Oh, Nino, why did you... Nino hurt him so bad that I haven't even seen hardly any interaction with them lately in Season 4. I think that's why you don't see them much together. I mean, he's like, okay, I'm not talking to him as much because I'm hurt. So here we go with this part. Again, I really think that if he does this in a Thomas, Sag, Winnie, and Ezra, if you guys are listening in on this as well, is it possible that Adrian is a sentient type puppet? Because, like I said, Pinocchio is referenced all in these episodes. We got Puppeteer, we got Puppeteer 2. There's just so many references. I can't even go through how many episodes reminds me of Pinocchio. The fact that he stands still. Who stands still like that for the long period of time and not move? Robotic-like. Who does that? The only one I can think of is Uncanny Valley. Huh. Was she like a puppet android thing then? I mean, person? Not thing, I'm sorry. Didn't say that. It's disrespectful. Person. She is an android type puppet person because she was able to change her appearance at a given at any given time. I mean, think about it. She can just become Uncanny Valley. And then she can switch over to what she needs to be. But Adrian and Felix were made to be human. This is why her sensors didn't catch on. Still the golden boy if you look at the background. And then we have, what was the other thing that's just so remarkable to me? This might be a long video, and I'm sorry. Where are we on? 30 minutes already. Whoa. Okay, we need to wrap this up. This is just gonna be my audio. If you wanna, this is pretty much my podcast. I'll just put one big giant picture or two in here. I don't know, nothing major. Because it's just a long video. I'm just giving you an idea of what I see and about. Oh my gosh, the Fandom helped me out a lot on this. This is for everybody who's ever contributed on my Twitter. The Blue Moon at Blue Moon Foxy. They are amazing. They have so many theories. I'm just putting all together to spread the word of what we of the fandom think. The voice for them, I guess, which I have been for a while because these are free and I don't get money for these episodes at all, or I don't give credit either because we all come together as a sea of people and talk about this. No idea is thrown out. No theory is debunked except by the canon show itself. And nobody's idea is stupid. If you think he's a sentient being, he is. If you think he's a sentient being, he's not. It's okay. I don't care. It's just us all coming together as one. We're all team here. We're all family, friends, moots, their moots, and their moots, and their moots. I honestly am just putting it all together of what I have learned and what I have come up inside my head as well. So with that in mind, so if he is a sentient type puppet, that would be a new era for it's like a provincial soup that would show us there are different ways to see different situations. I love the idea that I can talk to you guys through this little tiny podcast I'm making here. We're not call it podcast because I'm not putting much pictures in, just something you look at while you're sitting there and listening. But I'm not going to show any references because they're really strict on using the dialogue or the anime itself in these videos. And there's so many copyrights for it. And we all do our part as a community, the Miraculous community. We really care about the show as if we created it ourselves. And I mean, I think with a lot of stuff that's happening in it, looks like fan fiction. And once you write fan fiction for a show, you cannot claim it as yours, as you're not going to get paid for it for sure, unless you're part of the team of the Miraculous franchise. Sorry, but that's just the way it goes. If you have ideas of your own of what you think could happen in the show, leave comments down below. I'll be sure to read them. If they allow the comments, that is. Because YouTube is being weird about that for some reason. This will not be copyrighted because there's nothing to be copyrighted. There's nothing in here that's going to cause a problem. I'll make sure of it so you can all hear this whole podcast. I don't have my best friend here to talk about it because he is busy with his own family. I'm talking about Dominic. He's usually the voice of our Luca Cafane, mature Luca Cafane. And I'm happy to work with him as well. We have another one coming as I have talked to him for it. He's welcome to take any role up as well for other characters in my storylines. If he chooses to or chooses not to, that's fine. I always said the door was open for him if he couldn't find work or at least someone to practice with. Let me think of what else I was thinking. So, Suhan is really scared about this, and he thinks that Cat Noir will go rogue. And with all the emotions that Cat Noir has, Adrien is able to balance it out at the moment. But we see how he got when he learned everything at once. In Cat Blanc, he was so vulnerable to being hit by the butterflies and become Cat Blanc. And it's always Gabriel Agreste. So what if there was a villain worse than Gabriel Agreste? I'm talking, maybe Felix isn't the bad guy here, but we do get a bad Cat Noir, and it could be GILES. Because in Fennel, we learn, sorry, that word is just so hard for me to pronounce. Fennel, we learn that GILES is the one that the ladybug of the past was fighting. We didn't see GILES, but it could be foreshadowed that we're going to see GILES in other Cat Noirs and other ladybugs. I have high hopes on this. I have been wanting and dying to see the new ladybugs and the new Cat Noirs, but I want to see the recent ones. I want to see why it was so dangerous to have this in the hands of children. But one thing Ladybug has proven, as a 14-year-old, she is able to be one of the best ladybugs they ever had. Even Master Fu said it. Adrien has to constantly comment about it, or Cat Noir constantly has to assure her, yes. Rena Rouge, or Rena Furtage as she's called now, with her pretty blue pink suits. She has also said that you are one of the best. And they wasn't lying. And it's good that she has this people on her shoulders. Adrien's making it difficult for her to fall in love, but really, does she have time to fall in love? I mean, yes, and Fennel was wonderful, and this what could be later on. Right now, as a superhero, she needs to focus on them. She needs to focus on the powers. I don't care stuff going around me. It's gonna happen. It's a podcast. And I just don't feel like deleting any of the, or I might turn it down a little bit, but you're still gonna hear the vent. I don't really care because I'm not getting paid for this anyway. My point is that Suhan can also be Sentai monstered. I hate using that term. Gabriel is getting very clever with his ideas. Of course, we know the brains behind the operation is Natalie Sinclair. But my point, she is going to be used up until she's no useful anymore. This dying woman, yeah, she ratted on Adrien. She probably ratted on Adrien, not just in Cat Blanc, but she probably ratted on him. What she saw, everything that she noticed. She probably brought to Gabriel Agreste's attention because he's not smart enough to figure that out. That Cat Noir is Adrien Agreste, not through just my lady. There had to been something else that they had planned. Maybe one of the times that Suhan was there was Gabriel Agreste. And the reason I say that is because he's able to make Sentai beings. We don't know if he can chromatize him. I don't think he can chromatize him, but he can still make a likeness of him. Unless there is a debunk here. If he can't make a likeness, if he doesn't have the aura or the spirit bomb of the person he wants to chromatize, but can he get through a sentiment version of him? Unless he doesn't have the energy. If he doesn't have the energy, because the ones he re-chromatizes, he has their energy. The ones he makes sentient beings out of, he gains their energy. But that would be debunked because Ladybug was never acclimatized. Marinette has never been acclimatized. So the sentient being can be made out of thin air. It doesn't have to be their spirit bomb or their aura or chakra. It can be just air. This is scary. Because that would mean if he finds out the history of the cats and the bugs, he can use that to his disadvantage. Or his advantage. His advantage. And it'll be disadvantage is what I meant to say for Ladybug and Cat Noir. Because, sorry I'm whispering, but this makes a lot of sense. If he finds out the history of GILES and what he did to Ladybug, he could bring them back. Maybe not from history itself, or it could be he could figure out a way to make a sentient version of GILES and Ladybug. Wow. And that's possible. Then he could also figure out a lot of things. And who else would be smart enough to do this? Felix Grandavanelli. And he lives in London. And if there's history on London, because Paris just has history on London, and London has history on Paris, he could easily take that advantage. Oh gosh. That would make him a big super villain, wouldn't it? And a permanent or shadow mode for that matter. If this is what we saw in that one pic I'm about to show you, then that would mean that wait, if I don't have to pick up, I have to pick. That would mean that he activated it and it's gold, and I think it was red. But that could also be an indication that the peacock and the ladybug can work together too. I noticed these things. The fact that they're like spots. It's like a gold, which is, but what could be the gold? Maybe it's another version of peacock. The good version of peacock. Maybe the good version of peacock is the gold. The gold lady portrait. Oh my gosh. If she used it on her own being, maybe the gold outfit was what she had on and not the blue. The colors in the painting or the portrait could be the colors of her outfit, of Emily Agreste. Oh, that'd be so cool, wouldn't it? That although we thought it was blue in different colors of blue, like the regular peacock, she could be a version of a white gold and golden colors because it represents her pure heart. Oh, so Does that mean Emily is the one? Oh, Amelie is the one that wants the bad stuff to happen? Or are they just good people and she just has a gray area, just like Felix has a gray area? Maybe they're anti-heroes. We don't know. I'd like to see more of Emily, actually. And the backstory of Emily. That would be interesting. Because if I look at the portrait, it's golden. And the colors would definitely match for Adrian's mother. There's just so many theories in my head right now for this podcast. I'm sorry, it's just overwhelming. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I think I've been here long enough. If I find out anything else for the fandom, I'll let you know. Like I said, I don't get credits for everything in this video. I'm just telling you what I know. People use them in videos, you'll know. Some of it, if you hear anything remotely to what I have said, other than what they have told you, they don't give me shoutouts. That's on them. That's their videos. But they know that we all, as a fandom, I don't fight about this. I'm not here for views. I'm not here to get popular. I'm here to help out the fandom. I'm just I'm like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. I don't fight or argue, but I will say we all, as a fandom, created all these things together. Our brains working together. I don't take credit for even this video, honestly. I will take credit if I make a show out of it. Like some of the things I thought in my head. If it ever becomes like a spin-off or a show part, and Zach likes it, I will take some of my ideas that I have on Twitter and the ones that I integrated into this video, which was always knew that the cat noir was bad from the past. Why wouldn't he be? Look at the blackness. And he doesn't like the kind of person who'd be sweet. I think he did turn against Ladybug. Honestly. It looks like he turned against Ladybug. Because he did betray. Giles did betray Joan of Arc. It makes perfect sense. Wow, this is getting dark. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to finish this video by saying we are going to watch more of these episodes once I get a chance to do it again. And maybe I'm thinking about bringing in my friend again. I think I have his save somewhere on my, I think I have his comments. And I still need to do his Lucrogen? Yeah, Lucrogen type story. And we will. I just said it's been the holidays and it's so hard and I have to work a lot. And I'm getting all my stuff together so I can put it away. And I was thinking about selling some stuff, but I might not even sell it. There's people not buying in America. We're having it really hard. Really hard. So, I don't know if anybody's going to buy my stuff, honestly, from America. So, I have this whole collection of Kamasami Kiss. I wanted to sell it for at least $1,000. Because I need $1,000 at least. And I got some more stuff I can sell. It ended up being about $2,000. But that's because I'm desperate for money, guys. Not because I'm greedy. I'm desperate for money because I need to survive. And my job is not fully helping with that. Okay. Gotta go. Bye now.